What is up, everybody? We'll get going here in just a few moments. What's up, guys? We are live. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We will be opening up the phone lines in probably about 30 minutes. So if anybody's calling in now, feel free to call right back or hang tight backstage. What is up? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today, I think we're just going to cover some true crime news, focusing in on Bryson Muir and Jeffrey Epstein, but also covering a few strange cases in between. Good to see everybody. What's up, Ziggy, CJK, Jerry, Pitbull, Kristen, Julianne, No Effects, Jerry, V, and everybody else. Welcome in. How many of you had an opportunity to go look at those new transcripts that were dropped regarding some of Jeffrey Epstein's victims? What's up, Robin? Phil Bond in the house. What's up? I've gone through a few pages, but we can look into that if you guys want to. I have it up. So yeah, we can definitely get into that. It's a lot to go through. What do you guys know about this case? I'm not quite sure what to make of this case. Bryson, am I saying the last name right? Muir? What's up, Grunge Truck? Says the intro reminds me of the different sides of true crime fighting it out on YouTube. Hey, we ain't fighting with nobody over here. Jerry, haven't seen them. Haven't seen what? These cases? Now, this one's disgusting. When we get to this, I'm going to need your guys' help spreading this around. This guy's wanted on the East Coast for raping young boys. Notice he has this really long, like, they called it a dread. I guess it could be a big dreadlock. And this dude from Phoenix works at the Children's Hospital and was creating CSAM while he was working there. Look at this motherfucker. You're telling me he's from Earth? So maybe we'll get into some of these other stories first. Now, all these stories that we're going to show are pretty recent, if not within the past few days, within the last month or two. Okay, look at some of these titles here. Accused church arsonist asks wife as possible witness. Construction worker accused of groping 72-year-old woman walking nearby. This one's kind of weird. I think this is a good conversation starter right here. Man accused of using AI in CSAM. So he didn't actually have CSAM or that material. He created it using AI, but the face was somebody that he knew. So I guess they're writing it into law now. I think it might be Ted Cruz, to where that's the same thing. Either way, he was charged with it. So I guess it was the first time this has ever happened. So I thought that'd be interesting to see what you guys think about that. Police search for man accused of sexually assaulting 11-year-old boy. And that's the one we're going to kind of focus in on, that dude. And with your help, we'll kind of spread it around. Because apparently there was another child nearby who was also assaulted. So we might be looking at a serial situation. And then the one with the image you see on the screen titled Sicko, that was a worker at Phoenix Children's Hospital arrested for possessing CSAM. And it sounds like he was creating it while he was working at the hospital. How sick is that shit? Good to see you, Jill. CJK. Let's see if I missed anybody. Oh, good to see you, Fiend. Think I got you, Robin. Sherry, what's up? Which story? The Bryson case? I mean, that's really strange. We're going to save the Bryson case and the Epstein one towards the end because I have more content relating to those stories. But I mean, shit is getting weird. You got people using AI now to create their CSAM. Like, what the fuck is going on? V, what up? Just read a post from, okay, I'm illiterate, so I might be butchering this. Muir's grandmother, she said he is brainwashed even after the abuse. So are we dealing with like a possible like foul play, or he's just being kept away from everybody? I don't know what to make of it. Okay, it kind of reminds me of remember the story we covered of Harley Morris? And it kind of led us to something called the Church of Wells. And I guess these people would they would actually come up to you in public on the street. Let's say you're like a troubled youth or whatever. And they would actually drug you. They would drug you through somehow in a water bottle or something like that, then kidnap you. You would wake up in a church surrounded by church members, and they're all kind of barking at you. It's some type of brainwashing technique. You know, it's like a real echo chamber. So you wake up and they're telling you, you need to do this. This is how you need to treat women. And you need to believe this way. This is how you need to live your life. You need to do this. You're doing this wrong. And they're all just kind of yelling at you, like from every angle. Before you know it, you're brainwashed. And then they continue to drug you. So it kind of reminds me of that. We can talk about that later if you guys want. But go check it out. Church of Wells. Pretty interesting. Here, I'll put that in today's folder in case we come back to it. Grunge truck. This is a safe zone for normal people. I would say regular. I don't even think normal is a good word anymore. Like, what does that even mean? CJK, Sherry Wilson. He had to be known before as the creepy guy. Yeah. Like, you don't want to judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean? But look at this guy. Oh, check this out. I had to. Do you Any of you know who Michael Berryman is? Before I put the image up on the screen, let me see if you guys know who this is in the chat. Michael Berryman. Who is he? Who knows? Who in chat can tell me who Michael Berryman is? And he looks like that guy. Good to see you, No Effects. Yeah, how awful is that? Sicko has low ears. Close eyes and low ears. Or sometimes they're too far away. Either they're too close or too far away. Jerry, yep, the Epstein papers. So it's basically the transcripts from people who have reported that they're victims of Epstein in some way or the other. There are hiring procedures. I think checking arrest records is part of it. If going to ask a family member. What's up, Frank? Good to see you. Thanks, V. Yeah, if you guys want to help out with the drone fundraiser, so far so good. It does seem to be slowing down. So, I mean, anything helps. Good to see you, Beth. What's up, Jamie? Yeah, if I don't have it lined up, V, you can send it to me. I do have something where it's via phone. It's the grandmother talking it's basically a recorded phone call. So I don't know if that's the same one. If it's not, please email it to me. I can't really click on these links that you're posting in StreamYard. Oh, wait, maybe I can in YouTube. Nope. That's weird. Hey, what's up, GP? Oh, not sure, Frank. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Jill says, I think Bryson's parents put him in a cult. V says, the comedian. Oh, Pitbull got it. Hills Have Eyes actor. Yep. There's your hint. If you haven't already got it, I'm catching up. But there's a good hint right there. Hills have eyes. And that's not even very specific. That's still kind of vague. So it's not the best clue. But it's a good one. Especially for, here, I'll give you a hint. Especially for you older folks. Yeah, CJK. Well, I'm going to show you a really scary story today. Now, you see the guy in the blue shirt? Apparently, I think he's 6'2", black male, long dreadlock. So he's walking by, and there's an 11-year-old boy who just took the dog out right in front. It's a small front yard. And this guy walks by and just grabs him and takes him around the side of the house and assaults him. I mean, how do you protect from that? Blink of an eye. And then he was gone. Hey, what's up, Richard? Good to see you. Oh, nobody guessed it yet. All right, I'm going to show it. Aw, snap. Richard says, I'll drop on the drone fund when I get back from vacation. Going to be broke for a little bit. Yeah, vacations will do that. But they're always worth it. Yeah, we're at 25%, which is great. I mean, we're well ahead of schedule. But the quicker we can get it, the quicker we can get it out there. All right, you guys give up. I'll give you 1 more minute to guess. And tell me I'm not right. This has got to be his dad or something. Or they're from the same planet. One or the other. GP says, what are we guessing? Okay, you see that guy right there who looks like an alien? Underneath him, it says sicko. He's wearing the orange shirt. There's an actor who looks a lot like him. And I'm wondering if you guys can tell me the name. Ha, Goonies. No, you were definitely right. But yeah, it does look like Goonies. The first hint was Hills Have Eyes, the movie. Mutations. What's up, Cindy? All right. Maybe I didn't explain it very well. Oh, well. Let's take a look. You guys know this guy? Michael Berryman. Tell me you don't look like this dude. Oh, let's make them even. I told you. Tell me that's not his pops, his long lost pops. Or they're from the same planet. Good to see you, Cindy. Yeah, he looks way better. This guy has something going on with, like, he has the highest cheekbones, I think, known to mankind, with veins protruding. It's like, damn, dude. Like, most cheekbones stop like right around here. His stop somewhere up here. GV, that's his son. From Planet Orion 1. Cindy Fauchot. Told you, Ziggy. Yeah, his name's Michael Berryman. Like, he's one of those actors you recognize his face, but you just don't really know his name. What's up, Diamonds? All right, let's take a look at some of these stories here. Where should we start? You want to start with him?
A food service worker at Phoenix Children's Hospital has been arrested on child pornography charges. Officers took 29-year-old Zachary Albritton into custody yesterday at Sky Harbor Airport on 10 felony counts of sexual exploitation of a minor.
Phoenix.
They say he exchanged child porn images online. Detectives say that he told him his job was to deliver food to rooms at the hospital. They say he denied ever trying to take photos or videos of the children or have sexual contact with them. But police say Albritton acknowledged he has sexual fantasies about minors.
You post a bond, I am ordering that you be supervised by.
Okay, and just so you guys are aware, I'm going to give you a warning. There is a huge mustache distraction in this video. All right? I don't want you to be distracted by this fucking guy's mustache, all right? So do your best. It is somewhat impressive. I'll give him that, but come on now.
Pretrial services in the community, and that they install an electronic monitor on you prior to your release. If you do post that bond, I'm also ordering that you may not have contact with any of the arresting officers, not to have contact with any minors. You're prohibited from accessing the internet through any electronic means except for work, school, or consulting with legal counsel.
Okay, I play video games. Is that still...
So I'm ordering that you may not access the internet through any electronic
That's what he's
means.
worried about.
So as long as it's not internet capable, that should be fine.
A judge set bond at $100,000. We reached out to Phoenix Children's, but they did not respond to our request for comment. A food service worker at Phoenix Children's
I
Hospital.
went through a phase, I'm not going to lie. But it wasn't a mustache, it was with my beard. First time I watched that video, I couldn't even hear. All I saw was a mustache. And the room started spinning. Thought I was about to get shot by Doc Holliday. I'm your Huckleberry. Say when. Say easy.
Video of the man approaching the 11-year-old boy and dragging him from the front of the house to the side. We will not show you the video because it is very disturbing and the family asked us not to broadcast it. We've learned that the perpetrator took the boy to the back of the house and threatened him to kill him if he made any noise. Authorities in Irvington, New Jersey are looking for this man seen in this surveillance video. He's wanted for allegedly sexually assaulting.
Yeah, there he is. This guy is on the loose. This is the guy I told you took the 11-year-old boy around the side of the home. Look, there is no front yard. So if you tell your son or your daughter, like, take the dog out, take the trash out, and this piece of shit's walking by. I mean, you telling me you have to go out with your kids every single time? I think right now the answer is yeah, you do.
An 11-year-old boy on Monday morning.
It's really sensitive and it's really new, so, you know, I'm very upset.
The mother of the child, who we are not identifying, speaking exclusively with Pix 11 News.
You know, my son, I know he told me what happened in front of my door.
According to the Irvington Detective Bureau, the minor was walking his dog on Ellis Avenue at around 6:34 a.m. The family tells us that the suspect waited for when the boy was about to enter the home.
My son being strangled in front of my house. He was taken right over there, yes, to the back.
And that is when the man allegedly sexually assaulted the little boy. Sources telling Pix 11 News that this might not be the only case of sexual assault involving the suspect.
I've heard it happen to another
What
child.
would you tell those parents that are probably going through a similar situation?
I'm praying for them, you know. I hope that person also heals and they get the help they need.
Other parents in this community are alarmed,
What's up,
knowing that
Renee?
the perpetrator remains at large.
It's crazy people out here. I'm devastated. Wow.
It's sad. I mean, ain't never our kids safe.
The individual wanted by police is being described as a stocky-built black male.
I mean, they got to be able to find this dude. I mean, he has a dreadlock hanging out the back of his hat that goes past his buttocks. I mean, I bet you he lives right around there.
Built black male, about 6 feet tall and around 250 pounds.
Like, how do you miss this dude? How do you hide with a giant dreadlock? Unless you're like a roadie for a reggae band or something. What's up, Boston? Here, let's do this. Let's put him on the big screen. I think he has a backpack over his shoulder as well. Some kind of bag. Shirt is tucked in. Looks like gray jeans. Kind of scrunched up at the bottom. White shoes. Black belt. Possibly a white phone. That could be just the screen. I'm not sure. No visible tattoos. Well, maybe something right here. But not from what I could see. Nothing in the neck area. The hair appears to be pretty long. And then just right out of the bottom, there's a huge dreadlock just coming out. So he might even have this up in a hat now. It kind of twisted up. And a little Rasta cap. I would say light skin. Maybe some facial hair. Yeah, Pitbull. People are fucked up. He's got that braid wrapped around his head. You mean nowadays or in the photo? I think he has it wrapped around his head now. Unless you're saying he has other dreadlocks wrapped up. Oh, under the hat he has more? Yeah, I could see that. And I bet you to this day he has this one wrapped up in another hat. I'm sure he's seen himself on the news. What's going on, Boston? Oh, yeah, well fed, huh? He's a little chunky. Could he be Venezuelan? Doesn't look Venezuelan. I don't know of any Venezuelan dreadlocks. Dreadlock Rastas. And he definitely ain't a real Rasta if he's out there doing that shit. That's for sure. So when you see him cut off his dreads, and something else too.
Arsonist makes statements in court that reflect the reason that he was kept in prison after his arrest.
Eric Ridenour is charged with burning 2 Douglas churches in May of last year and will defend himself in a trial set to start next week.
13 News reporter J.D. Wallace is live downtown with what he said in court today about Christianity and how it relates to the charges against him.
Dan, he said that the average Christian
Listen to
knows
this
it's an
nut.
abomination to have women and homosexuals serving in positions in the church. That's the kind of statement that provided motive for arson charges against him in the first place. More than a year after St. Stephen's Episcopal Church and First Presbyterian Church in Douglas burned, accused arsonist Eric Ridenour will stand
Drive
trial.
safe, V.
His hearing for release last year presented his motive that he did not like women or homosexuals in positions of authority in the church. St. Stephen's vicar was openly gay.
So women, homosexuals, bad. Burning and being an arsonist, good.
And the pastor of First Presbyterian is a woman. Now in court discussing one of the witnesses he would like to call, Ridenour called him an authority on scripture and will provide rebuttal that Christian beliefs are based against women and homosexuals serving in positions of the church, that the average Christian knows that's an abomination. The judge said that witness would be for rebuttal only. Prosecutors told the Honorable Scott Rash they will not be calling
Radical.
Ridenour's wife as a witness, but will rely on recorded conversations the two had while Ridenour was in jail. But then Ridenour asked to have his wife on the list of witnesses, and the judge warned him that if Ridenour asks certain questions of his wife while she's on the stand, that will open the door for prosecutors to ask things they might not have been able to otherwise. Ridenour replied that the truth will play itself out. It doesn't matter. The prosecution could be calling as many as 19 witnesses. The judge refused 2 more witnesses proposed by Ridenour. Witnesses Ridenour says that he mailed letters to about the dimensions of a house of worship he had built. And as a result, he says the FBI had contacted those witnesses and actually contacted them about those letters. Now, this trial is set to start on Monday with jury selection from as many as 70 potential jurors. They'll select 14 jurors with 2 alternates who will be selected at the end of the trial. Reporting live from downtown, J.D. Wallace, 13 News.
Gateway crime. First he's burning churches and then he's killing folks for sure. Glad they caught him. That shit's crazy. Like, I'm going to teach them. Have a woman as my pastor. Watch this. I'm going to teach them a lesson. Looks like it almost fell apart. What's up, Cynthia? Good to see you, Misty. All right, this one's very strange. Like, this is the shit that really kind of makes my blood boil.
I was shocked that this would happen, and I hope it never happens to anybody else.
Imagine going on your daily walk when all of a sudden you're grabbed from behind. Thanks for watching NBC2. I'm Peter Bush.
And I'm Elise Chingari. That is exactly what happened to a Cape Coral woman. Our NBC2's Madison Adams joins us in the typically quiet neighborhood of Durden Parkway tonight in Madison. You spoke with the victim, who is obviously shaken up tonight.
Yes, I did. The victim tells me that detectives arrested an 18-year-old man at a construction site in her neighborhood this morning, charging him for battery on a person 65 years old or older, which is a felony charge.
These type of people, they're sick, they need help. He had dark hair. Skin tone was darker. He had a camo gray and black shirt on, long sleeve. He had black shorts, black tennis shoes. It was
Exactly,
easy to
Cindy.
identify him because I remember the face.
On Memorial Day morning, Angela Johnson took a walk through her Cape Coral neighborhood off Durden Parkway. She says as she was walking down Northeast 8th Place, a group of construction workers started catcalling her.
They were hooting and howling at me, and I ignored him, walked past.
Johnson says once she made it around the corner,
And all of a sudden, I felt somebody grab my left buttocks and squeeze it hard. When I jumped back, he
Like,
sort
who
of
does
laughed
that?
A really sick laugh. And when I said, I'm going to report you, he turned and ran and said, go ahead, report me.
Johnson says the person who did this was a stranger. Shocked after what just happened, she ran as fast as she could back to her house to tell her husband and call 911.
How dare you touch my wife? Yeah, I would have attacked you if it'd been me. You know, I'm 74 years old.
Johnson isn't the only woman who's been sexually battered while taking a walk recently. In the middle of May, deputies say a young man riding a bicycle sexually battered another woman who was walking her dog down North Key Drive in North Fort Myers. There's no reason to believe it was the same man, but Johnson wants to warn other women.
Always be aware of your surroundings, number one. Not have headsets on, maybe one ear thing.
Pay
would be
attention.
okay, because I didn't even hear him run up. Not at all.
So she said she was wearing headphones and she didn't even hear the guy creep up on her. So her advice to us, specifically you women, maybe just wear one or none if you're alone.
And have some protection with you. And maybe a partner or somebody to walk
Carry
with.
that thing. I walk
I
around
reached out
town
to the
with the
Cape Coral
pound
Police
strapped down
Department
on my
several
side.
hours ago to ask who was arrested, but I'm still waiting to hear back. And as soon as we hear back, we will show you guys.
I think they put it at the beginning. Could have swore they had his mugshot. Damn it. Maybe not. Thought I saw it somewhere. Maybe not. All right, check this out. What the hell is this shit?
Child pornography that a criminal case for Montgomery County. The man is charged for possessing child pornography that officials say he created with artificial intelligence, but used the real photo.
Fox 26's Abigail Dye joining us live with more details on this case and how legislation is trying to keep up with artificial intelligence. Abigail.
Well, Anthony Rashi, it's a really scary situation. Any photo can be taken off the internet or any platform and made to look sexually explicit. And in this case, the victim was a child. And the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says that cases like this happened 4,700 times in 2023, and AI just continues to grow.
This one is the first time we filed this charge.
A first for Montgomery County. 30-year-old Roman Schaffner arrested and charged with possession of child porn that he made using a normal photo.
Mr. Schaffner had used a artificial intelligence program, basically, to modify an image of a 17-year-old girl, and that image was in his possession.
In 2023, lawmakers amended the Texas child porn possession law to include AI-modified.
So I wonder how that's going to play out in court. Because this is like this is all brand new.
Images or deepfakes. This may look and sound like me, but it's not. This is a deepfake. And that's what lawmakers are up against. There are two other AI-related laws here in Texas. One makes it illegal to make pornographic deepfakes of other adults, and the other makes political deepfakes illegal. Both of those crimes are misdemeanors.
And I was just 14 years old when I feared my future was ruined.
Elliston Berry was a deepfake child porn victim. She spoke alongside Senator Ted Cruz in Dallas last week, who's pushing Congress to do more on the issue.
And it is imperative that Congress act quickly to protect the victims.
This ever-changing environment on the internet, especially social media, is one that not only the law enforcement is trying to stay aware of and be ahead of the game on, the general public needs to be aware of.
For sure, Cindy.
Now, that legislation that Senator Cruz is trying to push onto the feds, it's called the Take It Down Act, and that addresses AI deepfakes with sexual material, revenge porn, and social media having to take those images down. You can read more about that on fox26houston.com.
Yeah, definitely the child stuff should be illegal and outlawed. I agree with that. But with the political stuff, I think you should just have a warning on it, like deep fake or satire or something like that. But yeah, this is definitely new. I think it's going to be a little bit tricky in the courtroom. I don't know how they're going to approach it from a prosecution side anyway. What's up, Brain Dancer? That would apply to things shared on YouTube, like murdered girls depicting using AI. Yep. It's like, I wonder what the wording would be like on that. So weird. All this artificial intelligence and like microcomputers, and now they're using what is it? I think it's biocomputers, where it's a living tissue. Tell me that's not some Terminator shit. Living exoskeleton. Or what does he say? Exo something. Something about living outer tissue. So yeah, shit's getting crazy.
Former NFL player and Kent State standout was last seen in Garfield Heights. On Friday, Indiana State Police issued a silver alert for 14-year-old Bryson Muir of Logansport, Indiana. Daniel Wiggins reports why the teen is believed to be in danger and why his parents are no longer cooperating with authorities.
This is the shocking photo Indiana State Police released to the public Friday. It shows the 6'2", 14-year-old Bryson Muir with a black eye, fat lip, and swollen face. Bryson, who is still missing, is the son of former Indianapolis Colts player Daniel Muir, who also played football at Kent State.
I just want to find Bryson. I want to make sure that he's okay.
Bryson's maternal grandmother, Cheryl Wright, who lives in Northeast Ohio, recently spoke to our sister station WTHR in Indianapolis by phone. Wright says she went to Toledo, the halfway point between here and where the Muir family lived in Indiana last month, to get Bryson at her daughter's request. According to WTHR, Bryson told Wright that his father gave him the injuries.
He told me that, he deserved it and it was okay. So I told him that it wasn't. No one should beat their children like that, not if they love them.
I secured documents from Garfield Heights PD, which shows Wright called police twice, saying she did not want to return Bryson to his mother because of the alleged abuse. However, Bryson left the home with his mom against Wright's wishes.
According to this report, police pulled over Wright's daughter here on Maple Leaf Drive here in Garfield Heights shortly after 7:50 on the morning of June 16th. Police say Bryson was not in the car.
The only things that the police officers told me is that they probably put him into another vehicle, and that car drove off.
And according to
Organized
WTHR,
effort.
Bryson's parents, Kristen and Daniel Muir, are no longer cooperating with investigators after they backed out of a meeting with police where they were supposed to bring Bryson. And Russ, I did speak to Bryson's grandmother today. She did not want to go on camera, but told me all she wants is for police to find her grandson.
Okay, Danielle Wiggins.
So they're basically proving that they would have had to take him, take him out of the car, put him into another vehicle. So where did they take him? It sounds like he could still be alive. So they would probably be keeping him in a remote location that's not that exposed to the public. So I guess this what is it called? Straightway? I guess it's very similar to the Hebrew Israelite movement, which is pretty much a cult as well. That's the sign right outside their property. They got it fenced off pretty good. Now, who's to say he's not just back here somewhere? That's just crazy to me how you can just take somebody who is a minor and just remove them just because you're their parent. You know, you're just going to take them from reality and bring them into your world like that. It's very strange. Away from the rest of their loving family. People that are not hitting them in the face and bruising them. He's being beat into submission. You're embarrassing your father. You know, that whole shame. Those are the vibes I'm getting. What is it, Julianne? Like, what is it? CJK, I'd like to know what the parents are telling their own respective parents, the grandparents. I'd be begging my son, daughter to give me info. It sounds like they're being shut out. I mean, look at that fence. No trespassing, private property. That's it. You can't cross that fence or you can get trespassed. So is this a child abuse case or are we dealing with what kind of charges here? If he's with his father, how does that work? Is he more of he's a witness? Like, what the hell is going on with this case? I can't figure it out. So it sounds like police went to investigate and they didn't even get the opportunity. He was just gone. Boom. They took him. So it doesn't sound like a kidnapping if he went with his dad. So I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to charge these folks, what the crime is. Sounds more like they want him as a witness right now. How do you file a missing person's report when you're not the parent and the child is reportedly with the parents? Even if listed possibly in trouble. Yeah, brainwashing. I told you the Church of Wells, that's what they do. They drug you and then they kind of come at you from all angles. It's like Clockwork Orange. Yeah, that's true, CJK. So then what are we dealing with here? What is the interest? Is it child abuse and they want to take a statement? Or is it a welfare check? Like, what kind of investigation is this? Julianne, some kind of religious cult ran by two former indie cults, Daniel Muir and Robert Mathis. Sherry, his dad blackened his eye. Yes. According to the grandmother, Hiawatha, good to see you. Daughter isn't answering texts or calls from the grandmother, and dad has been estranged from his family for years. Separation of church and state plays into this cult. Oh, thanks for the email, Cynthia. I was looking into that this morning. I've seen similar busts like this in the past. Yeah, if we have time, we'll pull that up for sure. U.S. Marshals rescue 200 missing children over 6 weeks. Operation We Will Find You Too. See, this is part 2. I think this has happened before. Focused on cities such as Phoenix and Miami. I think part 1 may have even... maybe Indiana? Can't remember. We covered it about a year ago. But yeah, thanks for the email. Maybe his dad put him in a beat the gay out of you program. Yeah, it could be. There's a lot of weird stuff surrounding the church and homosexuality, like these re-education type things. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of churches. I do all my praying in private. Oh, Hiawatha says parents are now listed. POIs in what, though? POIs of what? That's what I'm trying to figure out. People of interest. People of interest of what? Child abuse? I'm just trying to figure out what kind of case this is. And who took him? Who is he with? It's my understanding he was with the mother or the father. I wonder if they're just beginning to kind of... Maybe there's something bigger that's going to develop from this. Maybe they're going to find multiple children. Julianne says there are several kids at that compound. None of them attend school. Maybe they're being homeschooled. Yeah, this is just like the Church of Wells. They have compounds in several states under different names. Straightway, Praiseland, Servant something, Indiana, Wisconsin, Tennessee, and Alabama. Damn. Yeah, that's true. CJK says cults themselves aren't against the law until they break laws. Or they want to use you for a false flag like the Branch Davidian. Think there was a whole lot of children in there too. Reports of sexual assault. They could have arrested that dude, I think. I'd guarantee those kids whose parents are in that church are being abused somehow. Brainwashed, maybe drugged. Don says those programs are horrendous and brutal to confused kids. Yeah, all of it is. That's the crazy shit that goes on the right. And then you got that other crazy shit that goes on the left. Like, just leave kids alone. It's that simple. Jonestown, Waco, yeah. Yeah, the Branch Davidian, Waco, Jonestown. I don't know if I'm getting that kind of a vibe yet. But yeah, it could be, huh? I have a feeling there's an investigation going on about that. Because you definitely don't want another Jonestown situation or a Waco. It was very devastating. Did you guys hear that story of a cult where the cult leader died and they kept her dead body as a shrine? Like, what the? What the? All right, I think we have time for one more video. This is or maybe a couple on this breaking Epstein story here on these released transcripts coming out of, I think it was DeSantis from Florida, passing a law making it, I think, mandatory that information is given out to the public. So let's start here.
Breaking news tonight, the documents have just been released from the 2008 grand jury investigation into Palm Beach financier Jeffrey Epstein.
The testimony shows graphic details from young girls, victims as young as 14 years old. Investigative reporter Dave Bowman pouring through more than 100 pages of that grand jury testimony. He'll join us in just a moment.
But first tonight, for so many years, we have followed the twists and turns of the Jeffrey Epstein story. We may be one step closer now to learning how the very first case was brought, what that very first jury heard, and possibly how Jeffrey Epstein landed what is now known as that sweetheart deal. The legal troubles for Jeffrey Epstein, a wealthy hedge fund manager, date back to 2005 when a 14-year-old girl and her parents claimed Epstein molested her at his mansion on Palm Beach. That was the beginning of an investigation that started at a local level and ended up in the hands of the FBI. Prosecutors in the end cut a deal with Epstein. Instead of federal sex trafficking charges in 2008, Epstein pleaded guilty to 2 prostitution charges, one for solicitation of a minor. He served a short stint at the Palm Beach County Jail, was granted work release, and walked out 13 months later. He was required to register as a sex offender. During that time, lawsuits started pouring in, first from an anonymous woman seeking $50 million, saying she was forced to have sex with Epstein when she was just a teen. Epstein settled those cases out of court, but in 2019, Epstein was arrested again, this time by federal agents in New York for sex trafficking charges. The FBI credited investigative reporting to their case, and as a result, numerous investigations were launched at the federal, state, and local levels. In August of that same year, Epstein was found dead in his jail cell at a federal prison in New York City. An investigation concluded Epstein killed himself. 11 months after his death, federal prosecutors in New York charged Ghislaine Maxwell with sex crimes, saying she recruited underage girls for Epstein, and in some cases, she participated in the abuse. She ultimately was found guilty on multiple charges, including sex trafficking.
Really, what it was just a big blackmail scheme. You know, they'd get people in there like Bill Clinton and all these powerful people throughout the world, and then film them, you know, doing these acts with underage girls, maybe even worse, and then threaten them. You know, have cameras in the walls, speakers everywhere, you know, just monitoring them the entire time, and then they got them. That's how they control the world.
Then in 2022, those convictions led to a 20-year prison sentence. Maxwell tried to appeal that earlier this year, but was denied and is serving her sentence at a federal prison in Tallahassee. Also in Tallahassee earlier this year, Governor Ron DeSantis signed HB 117. It allows for the public release of grand jury documents in the Epstein case. It means all of those details about what kind of case was presented to that grand jury and how the deal with Epstein was cut so many years ago could finally come to light.
I'm investigative reporter Dave Bowman. I've just scanned this 150-page document. It reflects what Judge Luis Delgado wrote in his order to release grand jury testimony that had been secret. Delgado's quote, "The details in the record will be outrageous to decent people." The grand jury transcript from 2008 reflects the testimony of women and girls, some as young as 14, on what happened at Epstein's former home on Palm Beach. Some of the women testified they were paid to have sex with Epstein. Others tell the grand jury they were paid to recruit young girls to enter Epstein's orbit. Those who pushed for a change in state law allowing the release of this grand jury testimony said it shows the public a major contrast. It has the words from the young women, the victims of just what Epstein did. And despite that, Epstein allowed to plead to a single charge of soliciting prostitution, and that allowed him to serve just 18 months in jail.
He was able to get a slap on the wrist and go out and commit heinous crimes against underage girls and women in general for many decades to come. This is for the victims, this is for the public, and it's been going on for many years to try to get these sealed documents released to the public.
It's important to note that this testimony from the grand jury does not name any of Epstein's well-connected visitors to his Palm Beach home. And the grand jury met for crimes from 2006 to 2008, not for his more recent alleged crimes that landed him in a New York jail where authorities say he took his own life before standing trial on federal charges. And we do have a link to that 2008 grand jury testimony to a Palm Beach County grand jury. It's on our website, WPTV.com. Shannon?
Dave Bowman, quick work of moving through those documents this evening. We know you'll continue to look them over for us tonight. Meanwhile, not long after Ron DeSantis signed that legislation in Tallahassee that opened up these grand jury records, I did sit down with one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, Haley Robson. She, too, has been waiting, watching to see what might be revealed in these documents. It has been several years since Jeffrey Epstein took his own life, but time has not healed all wounds.
Because it seems like for the last 20 years, it's been all about Jeffrey and the negativity and the abuse and this and that. And it's like, well, if we keep giving attention to the abuser, then we're forgetting about the victims.
Haley Robson, one of the local high school girls victimized by Epstein, has been waiting for the grand jury records release. She met with the governor on Palm Beach after he signed that legislation, HB 117, that called for those grand jury documents to be released. She later sat down with me at our studios in West Palm Beach.
So I think this is going to set the tone for future cases. I think there was a lot of mistakes made, but if I can, if I can bring to light the mistakes that were made and how to fix that and show other victims and other women and children how to move past the trauma and how to live past the trauma and how to have, I don't want to say a normal, because I don't think there is any normalcy in the world anymore, but just have a more healthier lifestyle and how to kind of get back to civilization after they go through such trauma like that. I think that's what my future looks like.
Haley Robson, in her own words.
Someone that was extremely.
All right, guys, we're going to start winding down. This is a video from wearechange.org. And they actually snuck onto Epstein Island. That's them kind of filming it. So we'll close out just kind of watching that video. There's no audio, by the way, so I just figured we'd chat for the next 10 minutes. So think about Rex Heuermann. You remember we thought he might be, him and a group of folks might be out hunting these women. I wonder if this is the kind of place where they actually do stuff like that as well. Because it seems to be set up like almost like a movie set. Giant sundial. Some conspiracy with that little area. Used to be like a basketball court or something like that. Then overnight it was demolished. Now locals would would tell reporters that, yeah, they knew all about Epstein Island and all the young girls that were coming and going from there. So you see, it's just painted on. That's not even a real door. It's like a movie set or something. Crazy. Did he ask you how old you were? Uh-huh. What did you tell him? I told him I was 18. And he asked me, like, what do I like? I do for my spare time. So this is one interview after the other with victims. And if you want to take a look at it for yourself, I put the link in my community page. I mean, it's pretty disturbing stuff. Same MO, though. He filmed everything and everyone for blackmail. Who was he getting dirt for, though? Who was he really pulling the strings? Some very powerful people. The Illuminati. The Illuminati. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. If you want to participate in the drone fundraiser, those are the options there. Cash App, Zelle. We cleared $500 this morning. So I want to thank Deidre, Abby's grandma, Laura, Purdue, Don Spain, Elizabeth B., Phil Bond, Willow Rain, Elizabeth B., Robin, Return the Diamonds, Kitty Wamblista, Hot Sauce, and Sandra F. So that's the group that got us to 500. Thank you, guys. We are well on our way. Rain Dancer, Epstein, same types. Gerald Marie Sickos. Both should have been jailed in their early years. Yeah, it's hard to jail powerful people like that. And members, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think we'll go live in the morning. Some things I want to talk about as far as Delphi. So we'll have a Delphi live stream tomorrow morning and then sometime midday, not too late, because I know we have a lot of members over there in Europe and across the world. So we want to make sure we're accommodating that as well. So that's what you can expect tomorrow. Delphi and then members only. So I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We will be opening up the phone lines in probably about 15 to 30 minutes. So if anybody's calling in now, feel free to call right back or hang tight.